Hey, welcome back to another episode of FSi DFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm host Mega 31, and yay, this week Talladega. We don't have to do a speculation video because we had qualifying last night. And I don't do practice on Super Speedway, so qualifying is just to start the grid. It really doesn't mean anything because it's going to be a drafting track, and there's definitely this is not any indication for qualification. It's just how the cars rolled off the truck, and some of them might have been set up for long run speed, and they know that this isn't a track where it's going to be hard to pass. Dominating points don't matter, leads don't really matter. What you're looking for if you're new to Super Speedway DFS for NASCAR is that you want to stack the back because place differential is key. You'll look at top, and Jesse Love has a pole, and Jesse Love has been one of the most dominant cars recent years on super speedways, up there with Austin Hill, both of them 1 and 2. No surprise there. They dominate here. They have wins here. Jesse Love, every single win he has had has been on a super speedway. And you're saying, wait, Mega, you won Rockingham last week, and that wasn't a super speedway. But wait, if you didn't pay attention after post race, he was actually disqualified for parts, and Sammy Smith got the victory. So just case in point here, the way DK scoring works is, again, you really the lead is between like different trains of cars, sometimes two or three wide, bounces back and forth. Being a super speedway, there's not that many laps there like there were at like a short track where you have like 200, 300, sometimes even 400 laps, 500 in some cup races. So, you don't have that many place or not place different. You don't have that many dominating points for leading laps, and fast laps seem to be really spread all throughout the sorry, what I'm trying to say here, the uh the field because cars come and go and move and get in different drafting positions and things like that. So there's a lot of color on the screen because there's a lot of teams that work together. And after I go through the whole field, I will just give you a breakdown of the different teams after that. So again, starting towards the top, most of these drivers are going to be a GPP. Love and Hill, obviously, like when I'd only take one, I wouldn't pair them together. Like we don't have FanDuel where finishing position is so much more important here. But again, Jesse Love, you get 45 points for winning the race, and that's not bad here. But if you look at Ryan Sieg down there at 35th, he gets let's say he finishes 15th, so it's 20 place differential points and 28. So he's gonna get 48 there. So and his floor is he can only lose like 3 place. So the worst he can do is a -3 if he wrecks here. But if he gets to top to 15 position, he gets you 48 points. Jesse Love has a ceiling of 45. I mean, he could get some laps led and stuff. Again, there's not that many of them. So it at like a quarter point for lap led. Like even if he leads, say 20 laps, that's giving him what, like 5 extra points. So maybe he gets to 50. So and again, but if he crashes, and especially like early, he could like be a -37. So that's why it's so dangerous to play these cars up top. The other thing you want to keep in mind is play light because it's a variable sport, and this track makes it even more high variance. And then the final thing too is don't use all your salary. You don't have to, because if you have a lineup that you really like, you can leave 10, 20K on. Don't try to get better drivers or things like that. Look at place differential because that is king here. So again, looking at the top 10 here, um, Josh Taylor Gray was the only one that finished in the top five at Daytona. Sorry, Clements did also, but Clements started like 25th, so that he had a good place differential day. He'd only get one if he finishes ninth here, so it's not worth the risk up here. So using a fade, Ellis is a fade. I don't know how Joey Gase got up here. Um, they had a fast car set up for a hot lap, but I don't know like long run speed if it's going to be there. Uh, they're well, can they hang with the Chevys and stay in the draft? I don't know. Um, where did Joey Gase end up finishing? Did he even run in 15th? He started 37th. So that's kind of my issue here is 15th place car, he's going to be losing you like 10 place differential points. And again, salary doesn't matter here, so you're not looking for like a cheap guy that's going to do good with the bonuses. 28 minus, so he's going to get 18 points. That's not going to do it. That's not going to be optimal. So Joey Gase, no, Jeb Burton is the Jordan Anderson cars are really good here, but I don't know if Daytona he was one of the first ones out. I think no, what am I thinking of? No, Burton wasn't bad. He started 22nd, but finished 16th. So again, that's not going to get it done. So again, so we're looking at the top 10. If you want to take the winner, if you think it's like Hill or Love or maybe even Algar or Burton is a dark horse here, the rest of them I wouldn't touch. I wouldn't start really playing guys till Sheldon Creed. Sheldon Creed finished third. And I think I'd only play him in a GPP in the Ford stack. Matt Benedetto, a lot of experience on super speedways, but again, I think just a GPP here, if anything, and I would really be taking anybody starting above like probably 15th really sparingly, like maybe only one in your GPP lineup. But then you want to build down here because this is your meat of your sandwich. If you want to get cute, take a shot. So I know I have dominators on the board here, and the reason is that I'm doing them as grouping. So here's the first grouping that I like, and I think it's a GPP build, is to take some of the JR Motorsports cars here that could work together, work with the Chevys, and as teammates, if they don't kill each other at the end and take each other out, um, then they should be fine. So Village, Smith, and Quaffle, who actually finished fourth and had a decent run at Daytona, I think makes a nice little GPP build with some of the cars down here. If you want to pair up with other junior motorsports, like Algar up here, I think that's getting a little bit risky. So I would kind of not, but I'll get to pairings in a little bit. So Eckes, I think, is okay here at 15th, but again, I think he'd be like one or two up here, but then you want to start down here. I really like this group. Toyotas usually race well here. So putting the Gibbs cars together. Brandon Jones, we say there's Brandon Jones tracks, and there's not Brandon Jones track. This is a Brandon Jones track. Eric Almirola, I know he's better at short flat tracks, like New Hampshire, Phoenix, but I think that he has enough experience to do well here. And Swalich, also is another one that with should do pretty well here. So I know Swalich started fifth and got an accident. But he was running pretty well till he got taken out. It wasn't his fault. At Daytona, Bonsignor ran in the 19, so it wasn't Almirola, and Brooks was in the mix also. But and Taylor Gray, who's the other Gibbs car, like I said, like if you want to put him in the stack, if you think that he's going to repeat and have a top five, that's fine. I think it's kind of dangerous. I just really like this stack of cars. And then I know Jones was out pretty early and finished, but he started seventh. But I really think that if you're playing again in a GPP, that this makes a nice little group of three, and then you can decide who else you want to pair with them. Alfredo's okay here. I think more of a GPP. Quaffle, I said, put with these ones. Here's a nice range of cash here. A little starting high, but Dean Thompson is another Sam Hunt one who has got a tech affiliate with Joe Gibbs. So I think that you can do pretty well pairing them there. Big Machine Racing pairs well with the Childress car. So any of these ones in Peach, again, I'll get that in a little bit. Uh, so I like Nick Sanchez here. Wright and Van Alt, they don't really have a tech alliance, so I'm kind of GPP here. Sieg, I like, especially if you're playing a bunch of Fords, like it makes sense to play them together because sometimes you see manufacturers all work together, put together, have the same strategy together, and sometimes pays off. Sometimes the race turns into a parade, and sometimes the manufacturers are all mixed up, and two non-similar manufacturers hook up and draft well together, and then they decide to work together through the race. Here's where you're really going to fall over. The 10K drivers. I really like the Jordan Anderson team. Besides Burton, who's starting like too far up here, I know Leggy. seems like he's been a liability on track. And I know that she caused a wreck in the truck race, but I don't believe that was her fault. I believe it was somebody else. I know she didn't make it in on speed and that she had to take somebody else's ride, but she was doing okay. She's like a legend in Europe, and I don't want to write her off yet. And Jordan Anderson has been super good at super speedways. So again, I don't know if she has super speedway experience. Without practice, this is kind of dangerous. But I think with Jordan Anderson not in the race and being a really good coach and really good owner here, we've seen like even like parts of Retzloff, it's a perfect example because he came in as a rookie last year and he really did well on these tracks. And Jed Burton and everybody that has run in these Jordan Anderson cars has run really well on these super speedway tracks. So that's why if you want to take a shot in the top GPP, you can do this group, the Purple Doms, you can do this group here. But I really want to take one shot at these cars. They have place differential down here, so they're not absolutely going to ruin your day if they all wreck because you're not losing many points here, but the upside is huge. Retzloff, I know is not part of Jordan Anderson. He lost his ride, but I still think that he might work with the people. He knows like kind of their strategy and their approach to super speedways. He's had a lot of success on super speedways, and the Alpha Prime car isn't that bad here, and it's still a Chevy. So I really kind of like pairing them all for 10K drivers. Emmerling, I think you can play as cashier. The SS Greenlight car has some tech affiliation with Childress, so I'm okay there. I don't think it's going to break down. Burton is going to be a prime here, sixth at Daytona. A lot of upside here. Jeffrey Earnhardt has been decent at as any Earnhardt has always been on a super speedway. So I think that's a solid cash play there. Mason Maglio, the MBM car is kind of an enigma here because it's usually a Ford. It's like a dark horse Mustang. Well, no, I think that only the dark horses are running, and but it's usually a Mustang, so a Ford product. But this one's a Chevy. I couldn't find any tech affiliation with it, which is kind of interesting. So I don't know how to take it. It's a great place differential play down here, but I think it's more of a GPP build than a sure thing in cash. I talked about Rushloff and really like him. If you want to take him as a one-off in a cash build, I'm okay. Outside of the 10K drivers here, I wouldn't play Leggy in cash. I would maybe consider Perkins, although he didn't do great. He finished 34th at Daytona. But I think Retzloff is definitely one that is usually pretty strong on super speedways. And then your prime plays down here. Mayer and Sieg, they are very good drivers. Mayer finished second here on the super speedway, and I think you really got to put him in your lineups to be successful in cash. So really love these three as your building block in cash. Joshi Wuji, he's a liability out there. He's so bad. He's not driving his own car though. He's in a DGM car, so I think that that might play a little bit helpful for him, and hopefully it helps him have a decent day out there, but like he could be the first one out. He could wreck the back of the field. Like he is one of those really bad drivers that you have been looking for me to come on the show and absolutely bang my head against my desk as I try to say positive things in the breakdown. I like him as a team owner. I like what he's tried to do for he partnered with Emmett Smith a couple years ago to start his own uh racing team, and I think that there's some talent there, but the results, especially on like super speedways, or not super speedways, on like a one road course, it was like every single caution. It was like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon all led back to him. So I don't know here. I am as GPP. Like my heart wants to say fade, my heart wants to say hell no, but you got a guy that's only 3 spots from the back that could luck box his way into an optimal lineup, kind of like we had, was it Emmerling? Yeah, Emmerling started 35th and ended up um, in the top 10 and with 25 place differential points there. So I think you can't write them off GPP. I don't know if I can do it in cash. And then these Alpha Prime cars in the back should be fine. Pool and like Pool's probably gonna be very chalky also. and Beccarelli. I just seeing how they finished, I think at wasn't Pool pretty 29th, like he started 28th, he really just couldn't advance much at Daytona, so that's why I have him as cash and out prime play. I think some people will probably make him a core play, but I'd rather take Burton. So that's what I got for you. One quick thing I want to do, like I said beforehand, is like kind of mix things up here. So let's look at them by manufacturer. So we'll we'll just purely look at the Chevys. So Alpha Prime are all together, their own tech alliance. They're not aligned with anybody else. The ones that are brown have no tech alliance. These are like smaller single car teams that I don't really have as much faith in here. But the ones that are kind of in peach here, the Richard Childress Racing ones, strong program here, SNS Greenlight, obviously top 10 at Daytona. Viking Motorsports with Matt DiBenedetto is paired there. Young Motorsports has a tech alliance. Hope with Honeyman, who I think is a decent cash play, and Sanchez also. If you want to put those that they might work together. Of course, they're going to blend in and work with other Chevys also, but they might work with one another also. Colleague is really not associated with anybody else anymore other than themselves. They had a strong program. They qualified well. I just think too well to really make them a pairing. Like I said, I like the JR Motorsports cars here. I just kind of iffy putting Allgaier in your stack just because he's starting so far forward and you don't really have the place differential with the rest of the guys to offset if he has a bad day. And then, like I said, I really like the Jordan Anderson one. I'm probably going to fade Burton being so far forward up here. But this, and I'm going to throw Parker Retzlaff in there out of the Alpha Prime group. So, this is where you want to kind of build together. I'd kind of not do the brown ones, but definitely the peach ones, mix in with like some JR ones, like build with six Chevys, especially in a 20 max, and I like that. It's a little easier to do with Ford because there's not that many Fords in the field. You could probably throw all five in there. There, I think this is a really nice stack. Look, you have the three primes there. The Sieg makes sense, and then if you want to make it a little bit more GPP-ish, if you think Sheldon Creed can get up there and win, finish third before, then get his first Xfinity win here, then I think that makes a nice GPP stack. And then the final one is looking at the Toyota build. Um, Gase usually is in one of these, but they're all Chevys this week. So you have six cars here. I wouldn't recommend playing all six of these in the same GPP just because you don't have the floor with them starting so far forward. I think especially Taylor Gray. But if you wanted to take these five and one of the prime plays, I think that makes a solid build for you. So that's what I got for you. If you have any questions, put them in chat below. Hit me up, Megro31 on Twitter/X. I will be back tonight for the Cup video. I'll do kind of the same breakdowns and groups and tech pairings and stuff like that. So hopefully that helps you out. So good luck in your contest. If you want more information on FSi DFS, you can get to go into the description of the video and get it to our Discord. $6 gets you all the sports today. We got lots of things going on. NHL playoffs, NFL playoffs, NFL, NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball, two slates, a day slate, usually a night slate, NASCAR, PGA Showdown. So a lot of cool stuff. So come check it out. So thanks for watching. If these videos helps back, like, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, and I will see you tonight. Good luck in your contests. Have a great weekend.